Hello and welcome to Stash Chats. My name is Yvette and I am the co-founder of the Stash Hub Sewing Organizer app. So if you are new around here, Stash Chats is my weekly show where I talk to different members of the sewing community each week to find out more about what got them into sewing, obviously their personal sewing stashes, and a little bit about what they're up to in the sewing community. So we're doing something a little bit different this week. So normally Stash Chats is live on YouTube, but this week we have recorded the episode in advance, so you won't be able to ask questions live, but we've done the YouTube premiere, so you can still join in the chat and have fun with your fellow Stash Hub viewers at the same time. So hopefully if you're watching live, you can get involved in the chat and let us know in the comments if you're watching on replay on YouTube as well. So in terms of Stash Hub news this week, Doug has been working on a few different things, which are all really exciting. So he's been doing the bulk ad feature. So that is available to test in our forum. So I'll put a link to that in the description of this video if you want to give it a go. But there's still a little bit more work that needs to be done on that before we can officially release it. But you can have a sneak peek if you are interested in having a nosy. And then Doug's also been working on something else, which is super exciting. That will hopefully be available soon, but we're not going to tell you what it is yet. So you can find out about that very soon. So stay tuned. But that's it for the Stash Hub news. So let's get on with the Stash Chat. So today I'm talking to Polina, who is the owner of Good Fabrics, which is an amazing shop especially if you are interested in sewing more sustainably. So we're going to hear more about Polina's amazing shop and what inspired her to source only sustainable fabrics later in the chat, and also get to know her a bit better with her sewing journey and also about how having a fabric shop impacts her personal stash. So let's get Polina on and find out more about her. Hello. Welcome to
Hi,
Stash Chats.
thank you for the very nice intro.
So, how are you doing today?
Great. The sun's out. I'm in a good mood. Feels like we finally are embracing the spring and hopefully some spring sewing.
Yep.
So,
Are
yeah,
you excited for the spring summer sewing season?
absolutely. This morning I was trying to figure out what to wear, and I've been so comfortable reaching for my warmer outfits that I forgot what I have or how to dress for spring. So I need to do a little bit of a declutter and figure out where are my gaps and what I need.
Well, that's quite good timing for Me Made May as well to have a good assessment of your wardrobe.
Yeah, I've never participated in it. I do like the idea of sort of analyzing your wardrobe and seeing the gaps and being a little bit more conscious with the choices, what we sew, what we wear. So maybe it's the year that I do join.
Yeah, I mean, for Me Made May, the actual photo part of the challenge is optional. The whole kind of idea is that you make a personal pledge of what you want to achieve, and then you just do it, and you don't have to share about it at all if you don't want to.
I love that. I can do a selfie in a mirror in our studio, but to do a proper picture to show my me-made outfit or my eco outfit, it's beyond my comfort zone. So I like the idea of just doing it for yourself quietly away.
Yeah, I'm this year my sort of Me Made May focus. Not that I've officially written out my pledge or anything, but I'm gonna try and have a sort out of my wardrobe and try and rehome some of the things that I'm actually not wearing and stuff like that because I haven't really properly done that since I started sewing my own clothes.
How long have you been sewing?
I've been sewing since, well, I got really into garment sewing in 2020. So
COVID.
yeah, that really helped, I think. Because I bought a sewing machine in 2019. Did the bits, the tote bags, the rat hammocks, the classics. But yeah. Anyway, let's hear about your sewing journey.
Um, my sewing started almost as a professional development project of my own. I've worked in the fashion industry all my life. I'm a production person and a product developer within the accessories. So my job involved going around the world, around the factories, and literally telling people how to sew and what to do, as in not the skill wise, but I'd be like, okay, we need this here, we need that here, we need a different stitch. So I have all the theory, but none of the physical, actual, tangible skills. And after, I think, doing it for about 12 years, I felt like, maybe I should give it a go just to kind of expand on my own knowledge. So there is a sewing school next to me called So Pretty in Wimbledon. Really lovely place. Um, and yeah, they do evening classes, morning classes, and the evening classes are with a glass of wine. Morning classes are with teas and biscuits. It's a, yeah, I was like, why not? And that was just before COVID. So I got my machine. I got into that hobby. Sort of, that was my January. That was my New Year's resolution. There it was. Now I remember. It was in January. January, February, and then March, COVID hit. So I had 3 months of kind of play around, and then I had the perfect excuse to sit at home. Not excuse, but reason to be at home and be sewing and experimenting. So I guess like a lot of us, COVID kind of propelled our
Yeah.
sewing journey. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I always feel like, oh, I don't want to say that I'm like a COVID sewist because it feels like a kind of cliche, like, oh, everyone got into sewing. But I was like, no, I was already into it. Like, I already wanted to do it. And then it just sort of like, you know, I was just gifted like that extra time and space to like actually like
Absolutely.
knuckle down and get on with it.
100%. I mean, I know what you say by COVID cliche. This whole business is a COVID cliche. This is my COVID baby. I was made redundant during COVID. I was on furlough from day one for about 3 months. I had a bit of income from the furlough, but nowhere to spend the money. So this was funded by you know, I had all the time. I knew I was going to be made redundant. So
At
it
least
is
you
a
had
COVID baby.
the time to prepare for like getting made redundant and you're not just thinking, okay, wow, what am I going to do now then?
Yeah. Well, it was a very unique situation because my in fashion world, you're very much pigeonholed in your expertise. So if I was in leather accessories, which I was, it was really hard for me to transition to, I want to say even to non-leather accessories because you become an expert in your industry. So I've been doing that and COVID hit and all my work died down because I predominantly was based in China. Um, so I knew that there was no option for me to even look for a job because my industry was done for time being. Nobody was hiring. So I had kind of, absolutely, what could you do? And then
That's amazing that
this
you had
happened. Yeah.
that you just like made it happen as well. Because I mean, a lot of people, have ideas and think, oh, wouldn't it be nice to run a fabric shop? So what was like,
Uh,
when you thought, right, let's actually do it? Like, how did that look for you?
I think I remember writing a pros and cons list, what I had to lose. At that point, I was just playing in my head, and I had literally nothing to lose. And I had a baby. She was about 2 years old. So even if there was a job opportunity, it would involve travel, which I didn't want to travel anymore. You have to go for a week or 10 days at a time to China to different, like, I just couldn't leave my daughter then. Um, so it was almost out of necessity. Um, Sometimes I look back and now it's been 5 years and I can't believe I've done it. Now it was, the ignorance, the bliss is ignorance, right? The ignorance is bliss. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. Now I know, and I'm like, whoa, mad. But I'm
So
glad I've done it.
when you were first setting up your shop and like because obviously like sustainability and like eco-friendly fabrics is really at the
Mm.
core of good fabric, what kind of made you think this is what I'm gonna do like for my shop?
Yeah. Um, so I think I had different angle or different perspective to the sustainable fabric. The jobs that I worked in as a fashion company, you always have the responsible thing to do. So there was always a conversation about, we're developing packaging, are we going to use the, you know, certified paper from protected foresters, or are we going to contribute to the for deforestation? So it's almost like I had the inside knowledge in front of me. How can I make a conscious choice to do the wrong thing when I know firsthand all the options? It's just, you can't consciously make that choice to go for something that's harming. I don't want to even say the planet. It was more people aspect for me. So yeah, I used to say, good fabric stock sustainable fabrics, but I've kind of rephrased it recently. The focus on the responsible sourcing, just to doing the right thing, because sustainability is such a spectrum. Somebody will say this is sustainable or, this feels right. I think it's just being responsible.
Yeah. So did you ever find it like frustrating working in the fashion industry? Like if there was pushback, like if you wanted to make decisions like, oh, we should do this because it's more sustainable, they'd be like, no, we'll do the more like cost effective thing.
100%, especially when it comes to packaging. It is so easy these days to have good packaging. Um, the big thing is, I'm sure if you take lots of paper products, even if you go to your Tesco's or Sainsbury's and you look at packaging, there is the FSC stamp, which means Forest Stewardship Council. And all that means is that, the forest hasn't been destroyed by making your, sorry, I'm popping out emails. Um, yeah, it not only protects the forest and deforestation, but it protects the communities. It makes sure that, the wildlife is not destroyed. It makes sure that, if there's food growing for the local communities, that is still protected. So much goes into it. Yes, it's more expensive, but it's 100% the right thing to do. And all of the packaging suppliers these days offer that option. So when we used to order, 100,000 of boxes of packaging, and even at half a penny makes a huge financial difference. It was always a clash between the right thing and the finance always wins. Always. It's so frustrating.
So do you feel much more like empowered now that you're running Good Fabric, that you're like in charge of making all those decisions and you can
Yeah.
say like you can actually uphold the values of your company, and make those good
Yeah.
decisions?
It's a blessing and a curse, I'd say. One of the best things about running your own business, no matter what the business is that you get to choose who you work with. You know, it doesn't even have to be the reason. You don't have to explain yourself. If in your gut you feel like it's not the right partner for you, or this is the not right fabric, or you know, you just move on. So it's great that I'm able to make all of these decisions myself. But then sometimes I don't have a sounding board. It's just me. And some maybe, you kind of you're stewing in your own thoughts and you don't see the outside perspective. There is no one challenging your thoughts, and I don't know if I'm doing the right thing sometimes. So it's great to be able to make the decision. But yeah, I think I'm missing the being able to talk it through with somebody.
Yeah, it can be quite isolating, like running your own business, especially if you're
Yeah,
like a one woman show.
very much one woman show here. But the great thing about sewing community is I actually speak to other store owners. We're very friendly and we share so much with each other, even if it's sometimes a frustration about supply or a little bit of gossip or a little bit of a fun internal joke, or it's great. I feel supported by other fabric stores.
Yeah, that's really good. And I think like the whole sewing community is very like wholesome and supportive in general.
Yeah.
Like, like being able to sort of interact with customers as well, like via Instagram and things.
Yeah. Being small, I think is great because once you get bigger, you can't. I always wonder, if there's a big brand that I love, even if it's independent brand, if I DM them just saying something silly like, I don't know, a comment or a feedback, I wonder who replies to me. And this is the great thing that, yeah, we know exactly who's replying in the sewing community.
Yeah, it's
I agree.
amazing.
Great.
So that's really exciting. So from having your fabric shop, has that made you accumulate lots of fabric for yourself?
No, quite the opposite. I have the guilt. I have the guilt for using the fabric in the shop because it's for my business. And I have guilt buying fabric from another shop because I feel like I'm cheating on my business. So I have always guilt about it. And then I don't end up using it. Or so, like, my stash is very minimal. And if I do sew something, I will literally cut it while it's still attached to a bolt of fabric, trying to like use up as little as I can. So yeah, my stash is small, but there is a box of I'm scared to open that box because I know exactly what's in it. I went through this phase of thinking I need to sew my own lingerie, and you need to get all the bits and bobs, and they need to be matching. And quite often it's hard to find trims that match. So I'd end up, I got the elastics, but then I'd end up buying half a meter of different potential options for the fabrics for the lingerie, and they wouldn't be the right match. They just go in the box. So I have a stash of, let's say, rusty orange brown colors that don't quite match to each other, but there's a lot in there.
Yeah, that's, I guess, one of the sort of difficulties with shopping online, that you can't
Mm.
quite tell if the match is perfect.
Yeah, I love kits. I think kits are great. But having said that, I have bought a kit and it's in that box as well.
So have you
So
done much like lingerie making yet, or is it sort of in the future plans?
it's one of them that I got really excited. I don't know if you remember. I want to say it's almost like 2 years ago. New Craft House started selling lingerie pattern because they are, I think one of the brands that they worked with went into administration. So basically, they acquired the patterns and they made the kits for it. The marketing and the pictures were so amazing. So of course I had to get it. Still in a box.
Yeah, I've definitely got one of those kits as well that I
Did
haven't
you?
started yet. Maybe we need to just do like a let's get it done, like
Yeah. What
let's
color was
do our
yours? Do you
lingerie.
remember?
Mine's the like, I think it's called like storm blue or something. It's like a kind of grey blue sort of color. It's really
Yeah,
nice.
mine's green. I don't know. I honestly don't know if I'll, I don't know. Lingerie doesn't excite me to sew. I think you need almost architectural engineering degree to figure that out.
Yeah, it's like
It's
getting the
not
fit
forgiving.
is the sort of hard part, isn't it? And it's the
Yeah.
precision as well.
Yeah, I think I'm much more of a jersey overlocker type sewing person. I like it to do it fast, comfy, kind of getting stuck into a project and trying and fixing. It's not for me. I don't have the patience for it.
Yeah, we'll get there one day. We'll get there one day. I did a
Yeah.
post recently about like what's on your sewing bucket list, and quite a lot of people said like doing a bra. So
Yeah.
yeah, the everyone wants to do it, but I think it's like, I think maybe the first hurdle is like getting all the bits. So at least you're like over that hurdle if like one day you're struck with the inspiration.
Yeah, I had a client. Sometimes clients do come into my studio if they're local. And this lovely lady, she was moving to Australia. So she didn't, she literally brought me a box of, again, lingerie and lace and bits and bobs. So there's more than I'll ever need. I don't know. I don't know what to do with it. I can't part with it as well.
At least you won't have to worry like if you've got to make a few iterations, you know you've still got the like
Oh,
supplies, and
yeah.
you can even use all those mismatchy bits just to like get the fit right.
Yeah. I need to be a bit more brave and give it a go now that we're talking about it. I need to. We'll see.
Yeah.
Ask me in
Well,
about a
if
year time.
all the people that are watching as well, in the live chat, we see if they're into bra making as well, and we can try and get a little like motivation gang together.
Yeah, isn't there Instagram challenge, something like Bra August?
Maybe,
I
yeah.
think I
Keep
think
an
there's
eye
like a
out.
hashtag that goes with it. Maybe that's the push. We'll see.
Amazing. So, what are your sort of favorite things to sew? Because you mentioned you like sewing jersey.
Definitely anything with an overlocker. If there's a project that can do fully on overlocker, it's great. I feel the seams are sturdy, I can rely on it to be not rip apart because I have done things that have, I don't want to say disintegrated, but there are like things that are coming apart. Um, I think I've done them when I didn't have an overlocker, but I love one of my two favorite projects I've ever done is in the same fabric. It's in the Econil swimwear lycra. I've done swimwear for myself, and I've done a leotard for my daughter's gymnastics. And I got one of those hot fix stone bedazzlers, when you can. So I've decorated her as
Oh
well.
wow.
So I like that was quite fun and therapeutic. And I think with jersey, you don't really have to worry that much about fit. You know, plus or minus a size, it'll still fit you. Whereas with bra, absolutely not.
Do you find that your sort of background knowledge of like sewing from working in the factories and
Mm.
stuff, did you find that kind of helped you get into sewing and like learn more quickly? Or do you find that it's also like like a blessing and a curse because you're sort of very aware of like professional
Yeah.
finishing techniques and you sort of, I don't know, maybe
Mm.
overcritical of your own sewing?
Mhm. To be honest, I don't think my knowledge and first experience with the factories has impacted my own sewing. It's definitely has an impact on me as running a business, sourcing fabrics and, packaging and how you store things and how you dispatch. Like it's more of the operational sides that I've seen on a large scale
Mhm.
and trying to implement that on a small scale. Like there's definitely an influence, strong influence. I don't think I would have done significantly different career. Like I felt confident doing this because I felt like I had the knowledge of the industry. Well, I thought I had the knowledge of the industry. You learn things all the time, right? It's been 5 years. Um, so yeah, it has an impact, but not so much on my sewing. So I started my career in leather goods, so handbags, which I always felt like I want to do a handbag kit because there's so many bits and bobs that need sourcing. Having said that, there's special machinery required to make handbags, which is not possible to do on a home sewing machine. So yeah, maybe that stopped me from sewing a handbag. Yeah, you need a machine that kind of, how the zip foot
Oh yeah.
is about this big, right? You need about this big for a handbag because it goes in to stitch the bottom of the. Yeah, there's definitely a technical element that we can't replicate at home.
Yeah, interesting. So yeah, that was sort of, yeah, I guess part of my, where I was saying like knowing that like factory techniques and thinking, oh well, there's a special machine for that, whereas maybe there are, you know, just different techniques that you could use as a home sewer and kind of make it work, but it would just be kind of a different end product in a way.
Yeah. There are some techniques that you can like maybe replicate at home, but I love a factory. I love the I think it's BBC program. Um it's about factories,
Oh yeah, like
anything and
inside the
everything.
factory or something like
There
that.
that one. I can just watch it. I don't care what it is. I just love understanding how things are made. And it's just so fascinating. I remember watching tinsel. I'm like, who knew how tinsel is made? The Christmas tinsel. So really fun. And I yeah, enjoy sometimes how we do pockets. We literally take a ruler with a chalk and try to, have our stitching perfectly, top stitching, inside stitching, reinforce like the pocket. Feels simple, but yeah, there's so much detail goes into it. Whereas at the factory, it just goes done.
So is it
So
the sort of efficiency of like a factory setup that's the thing that like really
yeah,
interests you about it?
I think it's just clever engineering. Like somebody thought there was a problem and somebody came with a genius solution. And there's so many problems and so many solutions. And it's just fascinating how people are clever like that to figure it out. It's quite impressive.
Yeah, I'd
It's,
actually love to see like a sort of inside the factory type series, but of like how, like garments and accessories and all that sort of thing is manufactured. Because I think a lot of people as well don't realize that like clothes are made by people.
Yeah, 100%. With working with leather, there's so much in-person jobs because with clothing you can bulk cut them, or there's a machine that does all the steaming or all the pressing, but with leather you literally have to go on your hands and knees and you have to assess every skin, and you have to, because it's a natural product. And I remember I used to go to factories to do quality control of leather skins before they get cut up into handbags, and I had this silver pen. So I would get down literally on my knees and hands and circle every scratch, every bite mark, and say, okay, you can use that one, but it has to be on the base of the fabric, of the handbag, or, this is where you'd cut the main panel, because cow lived a life. So it has scratches and bite marks. And so there's, it's fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah.
There are lots of actually TikTok, Instagram. I'm a normal person. I don't do TikTok. I watch TikToks on Instagram. So there's a lot of that you can see inside the factories. Quite fascinating. I like to follow these accounts.
Yeah, cool. I'm gonna have to get some of that in my algorithm. That sounds really
Yeah.
interesting.
It's funny how algorithm works. Once you liked something a few times, all of a sudden you're flooded with it. So yeah, you just tell it what you want to see.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's really cool.
Mm.
So, have you got like a favorite like type of fabric like to sew? And is that reflected in what's more popular in your shop as well?
Um, I do love a double gauze. I There's a couple of chores in, my life, general life, that I hate doing is unloading dishwasher and ironing. I hate ironing with the passion. And I don't think I realized how much ironing there is in sewing. So much. It's insane. And I live in a flat. So, I had to get my ironing board in my kitchen, and, you have to take it away at night. But oh, I just hate it. So double gauze is like the best thing because it has this natural crease that you don't have to worry about. Yes, you do need to press your seams, but you don't have to worry about anything else. So I love double gauze because it's not only low maintenance, it's easy to sew with, it doesn't slip or slide, it wears lovely, crease it, put in a suitcase is brilliant. And it's good price as well. You know, there's a whole price range, but and for an organic certified fabric, it's really good price.
Nice. So do you stock a few double gauzes in good fabric?
Yep. I think this is my double gauze pile wall. I do, as we now are starting with warmer weather, I'll see definite change in what people are buying. So that is kind of my next end of May to do a big restock of all the colors. Yeah,
Nice.
I can already see my swimwear lining. People are buying a lot. Swimwear fabric, people are buying a lot. So there's shifts now already, which is exciting.
Yeah. I think like it is, like obviously in the high street and stuff, things come out much like before the season before. But then I think with
Yeah,
sewing, it's really difficult to get yourself motivated to sew like, I don't know, really summery things when the weather's really miserable. So I don't know. I feel like personally, I'm always sewing for the season that is like currently in.
100%. So yeah, if there are trends with sewing, you don't, wait for like we are this buttercream, this the color of my nails, the buttercream has been in a high street for a little while, whereas now it's going to hit the sewing community, hopefully. That is my next big thing. This is the risk that I'm taking, I suppose. Yellow color has been the one that sells the worst in my store always in 5 years' time, which is a sad thing because I love yellow. But I do think it's a maybe gender neutral baby newborn color. Maybe that's why. I don't know. But this buttercream shade that's we're seeing everywhere, I love. So I think I've got about 8 different fabrics coming in that color,
Exciting.
hopefully this week. Hopefully. So I'm hoping that we're gonna love this trend in the sewing community. But
Well, I
yeah.
think as well, like with yellow, one of the difficulties is like knowing how to wear it and like how to style it. So with it being so popular on the high street right now, that will hopefully make that angle of it easier because you'll see loads of like, the nice
Yeah.
butter yellow outfits in, you know, magazines and high street and all that, and you'll think, yeah, I could make that, which is one of the most exciting things about sewing, isn't it? When you see something and I could make that
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah. So quite often, I think, if you go to maybe not a high street, but like a little bit higher price point where it's a good quality, you think, oh, probably I can't make such nice outfit. But then sometimes, like, there is this trend of, the longer vest that's
Yeah.
kind of doesn't. So I have bought two of them, which I love. They're in the organic cotton denims, and so I feel good about my choices. And now I really want an espresso brown one, and I cannot find it. Well, I did find it in M&M, and it's like £250, which I'm not buying, obviously. So I'm thinking, okay, I think this could be my next project. I do have the pattern. It's not new-ish pattern from Just Patterns called Freya Vest. It's exactly like it's perfectly what I want. I can't believe I'm going to say I just need to find the fabric. I mean, this is where the guilt's going to come in.
When you
I
like
don't know.
think, oh, I need a fabric for a specific project, do you think maybe I could like, check out my suppliers and maybe just order one bolt, and or do you
Yeah.
think, oh, I'll just get it from somewhere else?
No, first I'll give it a go. I'll give it a go to source it myself because what if it turns out great? I'm not the only one who's loving the espresso brown. I feel like this year the brown is the new black and the buttercream is the new white. So I like those two colors together as well. I think I'm not the only one. So hopefully I do have an espresso brown bolt under my table right now. The reason why it's under the table, it arrived faulty
Oh, so
and I don't
frustrating.
feel, yeah, it's a lovely color, but the texture is completely all wrong and it does not feel great because I have other colors in store that are great. I feel like if somebody bought, oh, I love the white one, let me buy the brown one, they'll be disappointed. So I don't want to put it out. Could could that be my fabric? Don't know.
I don't know. When if you're like not that happy with the way that it feels and stuff, you might then put loads of time into making it and then think, oh no. So
Yeah, it's frustrating. But there are also great stores and nothing wrong with supporting them as well, right?
yeah,
So yeah,
definitely.
I will have a look. My weakness is always the new craft house.
Yeah.
They do some special stuff. So
Well, that's really exciting that New Craft House has been certified as a B Corp as well.
100%. I'm a sucker for certification. I think doing the right thing is great, but we need to be accountable. And how do you become accountable? And that's where the certifications that's what they're there for. They not only keep the brands accountable, but they push us to do better. And I mean, being B Corp certified, it's one day a goal for good fabric, 100%. I just need to pay myself a living wage,
Yeah,
right? So I
that's
feel
the
like I
dream.
would, I would fail on that hurdle.
Yeah, I mean it's like a sort of celebration that you are doing the right thing as well, and that you're like being recognized for it, which is really good.
Yeah, so my packaging comes from a B Corp company, and I love that because they scream and shout about it on their packaging, and it's brilliant. Um, if I do ever come across a brand or a store with that particular certification, I definitely am leaning towards more of it. Like, love it.
Amazing. Yeah, and you've got a really helpful guide on the Good Fabric website as well for what the like different certifications on fabric mean as well.
Yeah, I tried to with the whole. I mean, there's a lot of information out there. I think when we go on Instagram or when we go on a fabric store website, we don't want to be. We go there for shopping. We go there to find the right fabric for our project. No one wants to be lectured about, you know, child labor when they're looking for their next project. So I try to always kind of phrase it and rewrite it, what it means to us as a sewist, kind of to look at it from that angle. But of course, if somebody wants to take a deep dive, there's lots more information available out there.
Yeah, and I think like sustainability and ethics are very important like values within the sewing community as well. So like last week on Stash Chats, I spoke to Pasha, who was on the sewing bee,
Yeah, yeah.
um, and she said the whole reason that she got into sewing was because she saw I can't remember if it was like a top or a dress. I think maybe it was a dress that she really liked, but it was from like a certain high street store that she like just didn't align with the values, and she felt like she couldn't support this shop by
Hmm.
buying it from them. So she basically figured out how to make it herself so that she could still have the dress, but without supporting a company that had, bad practices.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the great. It's like a superpower that we have, right?
Definitely. And also it's just
Hmm.
really nice like with your like espresso waistcoat to be able to like, think, oh, I really want this, and then to actually be able to have it, even if it's not like easily available or like at a
Yeah.
affordable price for you.
Yeah, and as a waistcoat, I mean, it doesn't sound like a too huge of a project. It's been a while since I've sewn something, I have to admit. I have sewn a t-shirt, which I wear as a PJs now. I don't know why, but I love it as a PJs. Um, so I feel like I'm a little bit out of my comfort zone, but this is a smaller project. Maybe that's what I need to get into. Oh, you make me want to sew now. Exciting.
Yes, this is our aim. We just want to get everyone excited to sew at Stash Hub.
Yeah.
Do when you first sort of set up the business, were you thinking this is going to be great? I'm going to have so much time to sew, and now you're like, I'm so busy with the business.
Yes. I I don't know what I thought, but I definitely thought I'd be sewing lots more, that have more time. I didn't realize that I feel like I'm struggling to stay above the water most of the time. I have so many products launching in the next couple of weeks, and I am struggling to upload them onto the website. It takes so much time to do it properly, and I don't want to do a half job because then you have to go and fix it. Um, so yeah, my idea was running a business is not what it turned out to be, but I am very excited still. I love doing it. I think I don't want to discourage anyone because everyone's situation is so unique. Do you have children? Do you have grandparents to look after the children? Do your children know what age they are? All of that affects how much you sew, how much time you've got to run your business. And, my day's pretty much done by 2 o'clock. So, having said that, very exciting. On next Monday, my daughter is going to a birthday party, which is at a sewing class.
Oh
It's a
wow.
sewing club for kids. In Sheen in London, which is very exciting. I think I'm going to stick around for that birthday party. I want to see how they teach the girls who are 8 years old to sew.
Are you going to just keep it quiet though that you know how to sew, just in case they like try and get you to help everyone?
Actually, I know the studio and I know the lady who runs it because a couple of years ago we used to have a program where we would collect fabric scraps from sewists and we would donate them to schools. And it just snowballed to a full-time job. So I had to pause on it, although I still get lots of donations. But one of the donations that I've sent to was to this sewing school. So we have met in the past, so she knows I'm coming. But I don't think this might be controversial, but I don't think parents should teach their kids. This sounds so wrong. No, this sounds wrong. It's great to teach your kids to do things. I think she'll be taught much better in a sewing class.
Yeah, I was going to say, have you shown her much sewing yourself?
Not sewing, but definitely a lot about running a business. She's always in my studio, and sometimes I give her a task. Let's say, can you come up with all the new names for the colors? So she'll be like an inventory coming up with the new names. She has seen the thumbnail that I'm coming to chat to you, and I think she's telling everyone in the school about it. She's very
Amazing.
excited. So she's very much exposed to running the business and she wants to be involved, not so much sewing.
Well, that'll be
Yeah.
really fun though, doing the little class together, and hopefully they'll all come home with something that they've made, and that'll be much more like, I don't know, exciting for them to have something that they've made to take home rather than just like a party bag full of loads of plastic rubbish that goes in the bin.
Oh my God, don't, yes, the party bags. Don't even start me on that one. It's horrendous.
So, do you want
Yeah.
to tell me about the exciting event coming up that you're exhibiting at?
Yes. So the exciting event is a thread festival, which is a shopping, 2-day fabric shopping experience in Farnham, which is in Surrey. It's not far from London. So just hop on a train, go to Farnham. It is a beautiful town as well for like a full day out. So it's happening on the 13th and 14th of June. Friday and Saturday. It's the first time they're doing 2 days. So it's always been one day, but we've been asking them to do 2 days. So it's happening this year. Last year's been amazing. It was my first time ever doing anything like that. So it was great to see different type of a fabric show, fabric festival, because I've been to Stitch Festival in Islington, London, and the one in Alexandra Palace as well. And this is very, very different. If you feel the London ones like are too big, too overwhelming, the Farnham one is the one to go to. You haven't been to the festival itself, but you have been to the building. And it's like it's a room. So you go from one room to another, up and down, and it's very small and quirky and very like the environment is so friendly and warm. Hopefully not too warm on a hot day, but it's just different. I'd say it's much more you don't have to elbow in to get to the fabric. You can take your time. You can do the loop many times. Much smaller, but still lots of great shops coming this year.
Yeah, I've got my ticket already. I'll put a link
Oh,
to
you do?
Threads in the description as well. But yeah, I'm going to be there with the Sorry Sews gang, so I'm really excited to yeah meet up with a lot of my sewing friends and also come and yeah check out all the goods on offer. It's really exciting.
Yeah, I love that also the price point is £8 if you buy now in advance, and I think £12 on the door. Kids under 18, I believe, go for free. Last year, my daughter came, and it's absolutely you can bring your kids there. It's that kind of environment, like it's nice and chill.
Yeah, there's
Um,
quite a nice park like right next door as well, I think, to Farnham Malting. So if your kids need to
yeah,
like have a little run around afterwards to blow off
yeah.
some steam, it's yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I think I'm gonna have to start getting ready for it. Not sure what that entails. Last year, the first time exhibiting, I had to buy all of these shelving, whereas now I have all of it. So now I just need to have a little think and remember what was popular last year, what people are asking for. Maybe bring all of my buttercream yellow fabrics, hopefully.
Yeah, well, everyone that's watching this, let us know in the comments what you'd love to see from Good Fabric at the Threads Festival if you're coming along, because that'll be helpful. Because I assume you can't bring like all of your stock. You have to choose what
No,
you're taking.
definitely. Yeah, definitely can't bring. But the great thing as well that because it's not local to me, but it is a short-ish drive for me. So I'll be going home on a Friday. So I can bring more stuff on a Saturday, depending, if somebody is coming back with a second day and they wanted something specific. So come and chat and tell me what you like, what you don't like. I find it so helpful.
Yeah, that'll be really interesting and really exciting as well because obviously the sewing community is amazing, but it's like very much like online. So getting to meet up with loads of people in person and maybe like seeing some things that they've made with your fabrics and
That'd
yeah,
be
getting to
nice.
touch the fabrics as well. I'm really looking forward to that because that's quite a rare treat for me.
Yeah, last year, of course, I bought stuff as well myself because there was a pattern company exhibiting next to me, and for like the whole day, I was staring at their stuff. I'm like, I gotta have it, gotta have it. So yeah, it's great that you can. There's going to be patterns and buttons, and so it's very much sewing, not so much. I know that, there are different festivals in the same building, more for yarns and crocheting and knitting. So this one is very much sewing. So you're dressmaking, which is great,
Yeah, it's going to be really
nice and
exciting.
concise. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. Is there anything else you want to talk to us about, or um, I don't know, let us know about?
So we've got a couple of exciting fabric launches. So the next one, which oh, I want to say it's the Thursday, 8th of May. Is 8th of May a Thursday? Is it?
I don't
Just have a
know.
quick look. Yes, 8th of May is a Thursday. So that will be the launch of the new See at Six collection.
Oh, nice.
If See at Six, they do really cool prints and they usually have all the matching ribbing and the solid fabric. Um, I love this collection. It's very fun and quirky. You can have a little sneak peek already on their Instagram. It's got this adorable flip-flop prints, and so yeah, that's happening very soon. And I'm gonna launch all of my buttercream fabrics. So if the trend is your vibe, hopefully sometime next week, if nothing gets stuck in customs. But yeah, there's a lot coming in.
Exciting. You'll have to keep your eyes peeled then on good fabric.
Yes, please do.
At what stage in your business did you like expand to having a little shop? Was that something that you did quite early on?
So it's still very much an online store, but I do have my studio, which is can't really see. It's very cute. It's got these kind of brick walls and it's got ceiling lights, windows, so it's very nice and airy. So quite often people realize, oh, they're very local and they call me and they ask me if they can come in and they do. And then it kind of snowballed. People come with friends and husbands and dogs and kids and um so yeah, you can come to our studio, which is in Wimbledon. Just message me fast because I'm not always here. But yeah, I think I've been running a business for maybe about 6 months. Yes, 6 months, I think. So I'm just trying to think of the COVID and the lockdowns, how they were lifted. And that was great. And then, I mean, I had a 2-year-old then, and I have a dog. So every time I'd have to unroll the big fabric, sometimes I had to use the floor. So I'd have to hoover, mop, hoover, you know, double check there's no hair. Poor dog would just get, summoned somewhere away. It was just taking so long to do basic stuff. And I think my final straw was when I found like a half-eaten sandwich on a fabric bolt.
Oh
Like, that's
no.
it. I gotta move.
Oh, yeah.
Again, if it wasn't for the dog and the child, probably I would have been doing it from home longer. But it's nice. It keeps you a little bit more sane going to work and having as well the separation. Like, okay, the work day's over to a degree. Like I'm not packing orders at midnight, which I could have done back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So have you got a nice like cutting table now, completely like sandwich free?
I do. So I have, let me see if I can turn it around. Oh, you can't really see. So yes, I've got a big IKEA table, the one that goes up and down. And then this one is a monster. This one holds like 200 fabrics because it's an industrial shelving. I don't know if you can see more. And then there's more fabrics. And I have now a rail with remnants hanging, which is quite nice because that's what I want to do at the Thread Festival. Everybody loves a remnant. It's always like a treasure hunt. So I'm gonna bring the rail and have them nicely hung so people can look through them. So yeah, nice and cozy. I call it my den.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. I loved how like colorful all the fabrics are as well, because I think there can definitely be a vibe that like sort of, eco-friendly like fabrics and clothes can be really boring and like really sort of plain. So it's really nice to see that you've got like bright colors.
Yeah, well, this is where when sustainability as a spectrum comes in place. Um, Dyeing fabric in a color, yes, color is a chemical. Somebody would say, okay, that is bad, and they wouldn't touch it. They would only have natural or something that's been dyed with turmeric or beetroot or, like super, super natural. And I appreciate and understand that point of view as well. So, you know, it depends where your where your sustainability kind of markers are. But it absolutely can be colorful. It does not have to be. And again, there are certifications and eco credentials in place that will ensure that all the dyes and all the chemicals that are used are safe. They're not harming the people, they're not harming the environment. So it can be done just with a responsible approach and a due diligence.
Yeah. And I think definitely like sustainability is one of those things that you like doing a bit can make a difference. Like you don't have to go like all the way and like, never buy anything new, only use like 100% natural everything, like, to the point where you basically can't like live a regular life.
Yeah.
Like I think that just doing, you can just make sure that you kind of invest in more responsible products, and that does make a big difference,
Yeah.
to the communities that are helped by these initiatives and stuff like that.
Absolutely. And that goes to any industry, to any aspect of your life. Choose the washing powder that doesn't have something that's bad, or, maybe next time you choose between your onion, go for an organic option. It does not have to be 100% all the time. Small steps.
Yeah.
Absolutely. This is like, there's this yesterday I caught myself thinking, it's like today is going to be a Kaizen day. So Kaizen is a Japanese philosophy of a continuous improvement. So it's improving something by marginal, like by a percent. For example, oh, let me retake a picture because I'm not happy with the picture on the website, or let me rewrite the product description, or just little improvements. And I love that. It makes you feel you are doing the right thing. You are doing the responsible thing. And that can be done everywhere in your life, from your food, from your cleaning products, the way you travel.
Yeah.
Let me walk today.
Yeah, what's that called? Kaizen. I'm gonna have to look that
Kaizen.
up.
I know, I love it. I think there's a famous, not study, but an example of a cycling team, and they did marginal improvements, how to improve the cycling. So it was about, what if we wear this kind of hat? What if we shave their arms and they have no hair? What if the light faces this way but not that way? It was just small, small, and the result is a big improvement. So imagine if all of us did that.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I'm just thinking like in terms of like sewing as well and like building your sewing skills, I think people can kind of get put off because they think like, oh, doing trousers, for example, there's all this type, so much fitting, and I'm going to have to use different fabric, and I'm going to have to do top stitching, and and then it becomes overwhelming because you think, oh, I'm going to have to learn, all these different skills.
Yeah.
Whereas, thinking, okay, well, I'll make my first version, and then if the next version is just a little bit better, then it's still an improvement, and like eventually, I'll get there without having to like completely, become an expert overnight type thing.
Yeah, it's being kind to ourselves, not putting pressure. I do have to say, I'm yet to practice what I'm preaching. Like when it comes to sewing, um, I get, I do get put off by thinking I'm never going to make it as good as, the Me&M 250 pound espresso color vest. But yeah, if I don't give it a go, I'm never gonna improve. Just need a time as well.
Yeah, just have to set some special like sewing time aside and like put it in the calendar so it can't be taken over by
Yeah,
something else.
but I don't know if it's the same for you. For me, it has to be like a rainy, grim day. Right? It's really hard to think, okay, I'm gonna set aside 2 hours and it's like plus 25 outside. Like,
So do you
I know
like
if you yeah,
go
I
for a
feel like
walk
the
or something
sewing,
else instead?
yeah, I do think the sewing or any craft is a bad weather day, perfect activity.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I am quite hoping for like a decent amount of sun this summer because I felt like we had no summer last year and I just didn't like get to wear any of my summery clothes and it was really sad.
Oh, yeah, I do. Can't even remember last summer.
Yeah, because
So
there
good luck.
wasn't one, not in the
No,
UK.
because there wasn't one. Yeah, I am excited though. I think the change in season is always exciting, which it literally feels like it's happening today, yesterday. Makes you just want to go stuck into your wardrobe and see what's what and see where the opportunities are.
Yeah. I've seen quite a lot of people who do like a wardrobe switch over and they've like switched over into their like summer wardrobe now. I'm like, oh, that's so risky in the UK. Like it
Oh,
could go
isn't
horrible
like
straight away.
almost like packing away the winter stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, in a big house where you've got an attic, maybe. I definitely have that with my shoes. I do put my winter boots back in the boxes up at the top somewhere. Yeah, you're onto something for sure.
I mean, I suppose it means that you're committed to your summer wardrobe now, even if the weather's like not quite committed. You're like, well,
Mhm.
I've got all my bright colours out now. I've got my nice dresses. It's happening either
Yeah,
way.
yeah. Oh, I just want to go home now and look at my wardrobe now. Just want to try everything on, see if I still fit into it.
Yeah, be great.
That's where Jersey's great.
Yeah,
Jersey's forgiving.
definitely. I've got like jersey like t-shirts and stuff that I've just had for so long. They just
Hmm.
yeah, they just keep going.
Yeah, this is a good investment piece.
For sure. Right, shall we start wrapping up now? Is there anything else you want to say for finish off the episode?
It's been so exciting. I don't get to speak to people, I'll say to people, to someone in the sewing community and, just share frustrations and excitement and, opportunities in life. So it's been really exciting to talk to you. And thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's been amazing. It's been really interesting as well to hear, hear about your background and learn more about good fabrics as well. And I'm really, really hyped for Threads Festival. I'm gonna have to like, yeah, look up like all the suppliers that are there and make sure I get around and see everyone because it's gonna be a really good show, I think.
Yes, it will be 100%. So I definitely will see you there. So come say hi.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, let me know as well if you were watching, what you thought of like this sort of recorded format, and hopefully the whole premiere thing has worked well as well. And yeah, I'll see you for Stash Chats next week. So thank you so much, Polina, and yeah, make sure you check out Good Fabrics. Bye.
Hi, thank you.